Live from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into NCAA Division II women's soccer coverage on the ECC network. Right now we are contending with some video issues on the outside, but once we stabilize our camera feed, we will have our main camera angle back for you. Today's matchup features the College of Staten Island Dolphins taking on the Felician University Golden Falcons. My name is Joe Foreman on the call alongside Nicholas Pavona. And Nick, it looks like our main camera feed is back and stable, and we are good to go from the College of Staten Island as CSI opens the 2025 women's soccer season against Felician University. And Nick, we did have an extensive pregame plan for today's game. What we will do if we have some time during the halftime break is take a look back at the previous two meetings on Sportsnet between these two sides. The Dolphins hold a 2-0-2 advantage against the Golden Falcons all time as these teams have faced off on 4 separate occasions. But Nick, you've done a great job for us over the last several years on public address, on PA, on stats. You now move over to the commentary desk permanently, and we're really excited about that.
Yeah, pleasure to be on the call with you here today, Joe. Of course, this is a momentous occasion for you as well, for a multitude of reasons, but happy to be back here for another year of CSI Athletics.
What we'll do is talk a bit more about what has changed for us in the offseason during the halftime break, but we'd also like to welcome our audience into our first ever CSI Sportsnet broadcast on Flow Sports. Flow Sports now the official home of the East Coast Conference. As the Dolphins possess it here in the attacking third, they play it down toward the corner. Strong touch near the box, and the Golden Falcons are able to take possession back and clear it away. But Nick, how about the new turf here at Dolphin Soccer Park? A great-looking facility already made even better with the upgrades to the turf.
Yeah, I got walk across the turf earlier today, and it felt really good, Joe. It feels good to be back here after the 1-year absence of being on the other side, and now getting to be back here at Dolphin Soccer Park for another big opener. Feels good to be back.
We've had a lot of good memories at Dolphin Soccer Park over the years. We took a break from calling action here last season, moved up to the outdoor track and field complex, and we were speaking about excitement surrounding this game and this particular day. Of course, it's the home opener for the College of Staten Island. First match for Felician as well as they open the season on the road. But for the Dolphins, they're looking to turn things around after going winless last season. They had a lot of games decided very closely, and one of those games was against this Felician University squad. They ended up playing the Golden Falcons to a draw.
And Joe, when we were going to talk about it in our pregame, we were going to talk about how closely these two teams are in terms of what they did last year in terms of stats. But another thing we were also going to talk about is CSI's production from their senior class last year going into this year. It's a lot of production that they got from their team last year that now they have to try to replace for this upcoming season. Last year's senior class had 8 goals and 4 assists worth of production, but over nearly 2,300 minutes of defense as well. So that's something to note for all these new upcoming players to try to, now get themselves inserted into the starting lineup. How are you going to make an impact? And there's a good way to start it here on the opening day.
Dolphins possess it in the midfield. Now, the lineups were passed along next door. We do have live stats over at csidolphins.com, but we'll do our best to get you the players out there on the pitch as we go. For Nick and I, today marks our first broadcast on Flow Sports with the College of Staten Island. And at the very last minute, after being set up for well over an hour, we lost our audio feed, had to reboot the system. We got back online just in time for opening kickoff. But there's plenty to look forward to here on Sportsnet this year in terms of extended pregame coverage. And we'll talk about it more a bit later. But Nick, beginning next week, my sole responsibility will be our live stream. We will have a new assistant athletic director for communications coming in. That will be announced officially next week. But on Monday, the new hire takes over the rest of the game day operation alongside Emily Albano. You and I specifically focused on the commentary desk, and we expect great things on Sportsnet this year. Our lack of a pregame today, certainly not a sign of things to come. We expect extended pregame coverage this season, not less.
It's certainly going to be a momentous year for us here on CSI Sportsnet. You mentioned it before. We're going to talk about some of the newer additions we're going to add to our broadcast this season, and a lot more lengthy pre-games to come here on CSI Sportsnet here on Flow.
We're still trying to hammer out the technical details, some changes to our live streaming setup. Thankfully, with the enhanced internet on campus, we have a lot of good things to say about our connection speed this year. But we're about 5 minutes into this first half, and we'll now shift our focus back down to the field. Enough talking about ourselves, though our CSI audience, I'm sure, is excited about the things to come here on Sportsnet. As for these two teams, for Felician last year, just a couple of wins for them. The Dolphins and Golden Falcons, as I mentioned before, playing to that draw last season. But both teams with an opportunity to get their season off to a winning start. And you have to think that both sides come in with some confidence. These two teams have played each other pretty closely. The Dolphins have defeated the Golden Falcons decisively before. And if you're the Dolphins, of course, you would love to put last year behind you very quickly with another decisive win here today. Going to be easier said than done.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about earlier the production of the players that they lost from this past year. So it's interesting to see how they're going to come out here today with the new players and talking about how any type of sport, what it is, whatever it is, Joe, you always want to win that season opener. You know, you mark that calendar on your date once last year ends, or if you're an incoming freshman, once your season, your college career is about to begin. You always mark that opening day down and get ready. The adrenaline's usually pumping, of course, for all these players. And to come out on top with a potential win to start your season definitely goes a long way for how your season could play along.
No question about it, and something that you and I were going to speak about during the pregame, as effectively we've carried our pregame into the opening minutes. But these two teams statistically last year, just so similar.
Yeah.
For the Dolphins, 14 goals in 15 games. For Felician, they scored 15 times in 17 games. Both sides within one shot per game of one another. The Dolphins averaging about 8 shots per game. Felician right around 7. Both their shots percentage and team save percentage were within about 1 percentage point of one another. So when you look at these two teams statistically, they were very, very similar last season.
And, you know, they say the numbers don't lie, Joe. That tends to think that you're going to see a close contest here today between these two teams.
We have seen some very entertaining contests between these two teams here in the past. One of those came in our first broadcast back following the COVID-19 suspension of competition. The Dolphins and Golden Falcons actually played the first intercollegiate game here at Dolphins Soccer Park. And something that I remember about that game is how many times I called it the CSI Soccer Complex. Not exactly the correct name, but from time to time I had that blunder during that first game, and it was a golden goal victory against the Golden Falcons for the Dolphins, and something we've lost in the college game during the last, now I believe, 3 seasons. Hard to believe it's been 3 years, but the absence of overtime during the regular season.
Yeah, it's kind of weird not to see overtime sometimes when we call these games for soccer. And, you know, with the numbers you just listed earlier, I would tend to think that we could be heading for a close game, as I mentioned earlier. Wouldn't be surprised if this game ends in a tie like it's done the last couple of times so far in this head-to-head series. You mentioned it. The Dolphins are 2-0-2 against Felician in their all-time history. So they would love to get that third win here today, but Felician's definitely not going to make it easy.
Certainly not. And when you have two teams that have a game on the schedule that they expect to be highly competitive in, and they come in with that confidence that comes along with knowing that it's a team you've played closely in the past, game one, a lot on the shoulders of these players early in the season, even though it's a non-conference game. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And very often when you look at the schedule, it's very easy to discount the non-conference games, but the early season non-conference games I've typically called the figure things out and get right games. I'm not sure that applies to these two teams looking to bounce back from a down season, and we'll see what they can do here today.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier with the Dolphins, of course. They would like to get that monkey off their back, get that win today after a very unforgettable season, unfortunately, for them last year. If they can get the win to start this year, that could bring some life into this club because, you know, when you ever have those type of years, it really gets disheartening and thinking to yourself, well, it can't possibly get worse than what we just had this past season. So I think for this new and improved Dolphins team, we'll see if they can come out on top with the victory here today. And as I mentioned, it goes a long way if you can start your season with a victory in your first game of the year.
Ball now in the midfield, and there really hasn't been that first threatening opportunity of the game yet for either side. The two teams have traded possession for much of the first nearly 10 minutes now in this match. I'm going to try and go over to our live stats now. We'll get you those starting lineups the best we can. They passed those over to the room next door, and as we were trying to get back online, that's when they received the lineups. But Stephanie Smallridge, our great statistician, handling the live stats, and I don't believe we're pushing. So maybe not so great, Nick.
Okay.
I'll have to head over next door once we have a break, but the live stats are not pushing, so we'll have to figure out why that is.
She did ask me for help, but we didn't have enough time before for me to,
All right, well,
to help
we
her.
need to get those pushing. Yeah. As that's a good ball, and very nearly Jurek was set up, streaking down the middle of the field. Taking a look out there for the Dolphins in terms of their formation, near the front at the forward positions and in the midfield, almost entirely that area is made up of new additions to this Dolphins squad. So a lot of changes for the Dolphins in terms of their starting lineup this year. They've brought on several new goalkeepers as well. Speaking of returners, Gabriela Castro with it now works it toward the center of the pitch to another returner in Riley Hammond and a third returner in Caitlin Thompson. So the Dolphins not making my point for me right there as we have a flag up for offsides. And Nick, I'm going to step over next door very quickly and check on our live stats.
Okay, while Joe does that, I'll take over for just a brief moment. As he just mentioned, offsides right there for the Dolphins, and what looked like was going to be their first potential attack will now lead to a free kick upcoming here for Felician. This is Isabella Riolano. Over towards the side. Going to be a tough way to see for the numbers are, but it does go out. And it'll be a throw in here for Felician. And it sails over all the players, and that one will just continue to roll all the way. But they ruled it out just before that, so now the Dolphins will have a throw in. Beautiful day here for some soccer here at CSI Soccer Park. Or I should say Dolphin Soccer Park. But great crowd here. The weather is held up very nicely. And for us here in the booth, we're certainly happy to be on the call for the first game of the 2025-2026 season. Dolphins will look to set up something right here. This is Hammond now with the ball. Loses out on the transfer, and that one goes out of play. It'll be a Felician throw-in. Emily Eskridge will be the one that throws it in here for Felician.
All right, Nick, I stepped in next door. Wrong match ID. I don't know where you got that number from, but it was certainly not the match ID from this game. Stephanie tossed you right under the bus. Said you copied and pasted the match ID.
I did.
So shame on you, Nick.
I did.
We'll scoop you up.
I did say to her, I was like, I'm having a brain fart right now about the stats.
Yeah, you're mentally checked out. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
32 minutes to go here in the first half. No score between the Dolphins and Golden Falcons. CSI on the attack, and
there's the first shot.
That will go down as the first shot of the game. I don't think that one was on goal. I think it was headed just a bit wide. But first shot of the game belongs to Staten Island, and
I think that was Charsky.
It comes about 13 minutes into this match, and I do think you're right. That was Rachel Charsky. And she came a long way from her back position.
Yeah.
Looks like she's lined up at one of the center back spots.
Yeah, sometimes you see that with those defenders or those center backs. They'll, take a long shot and try to set up something, and maybe on a deflection, but just a little bit wide of the net right there. The Dolphins' first shot attempt of the season. Dolphins
lineup in this one in goal is Brianna Dorr, one of the Dolphins returners. The rest of the CSI starters: Sola, Hunt, Jean Belay, Castro, Vasquez, Jurek, Charsky, Hammond, Thompson, and Cirinelli. As once again making a run there was Jurek. That time the ball didn't get quite as close to her as it did on the last run.
It's a good attempt by Hammond right there. She got to pass a couple of Felician defenders.
Dolphins now send it toward the corner, perhaps looking to cross, and there's a good strong tackle to make sure that couldn't happen by Kim. Golden Falcons working it up the far side across midfield, but waiting there was Castro, who clears it away. It will be a throw for Felician as we approach 30 minutes to go in this first half. Given the orientation of our setup and the camera up on top of the roof, as the Golden Falcons now moving in with some speed here, Strong dribbling before finally being dispossessed by Mora. And there's a sliding challenge, and a foul will be whistled, or at least I thought so. Instead, it looks like there was some body contact that caused the Dolphin to go down. Tough to make out numbers from how far away we are, Nick.
Yeah.
That was one advantage of being at midfield last year. As we get to know the Dolphins players, I don't need the numbers, but we're at a point in the season where I certainly do. Let's be thankful it's not white on white.
Well, yeah, don't remind me about that, Joe. But, yeah, it always happens with the first game. You know, you get those jitters out. Obviously, for me, I still need to get the jitters out when it comes to remembering how to input the stats. But that's definitely the case. You know, well, as the season goes along, we get to learn a lot about these players and what their tendencies are going to be here on the pitch, and try to make sure they can score some goals for their team, and hopefully for the Dolphins' sake, get some wins along the season and potentially get a playoff appearance at the end of the year.
Well, to your credit, Nick, you did set up the live stats correctly. You just had the wrong match ID.
know.
You copied it from a different game.
I know.
I don't know where you got it from, but it was not from today's game.
It was from whatever I saw on the screen. But, again, I should have known better.
It's okay. Next week, we will not have to concern ourselves with anything in the room to the right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can get me a key to the press box. That's what we need, so I can get up here nice and early and set up.
We should sell the VIP parking.
I do. Dolphins working it up the far side onto the foot of Jurek in the corner, but she could not maintain possession. It will stay Dolphins' possession, however, as Jurek had it knocked away, and CSI will throw from deep in the attacking third.
I'll get another feel of the turf later on when I make my way back to my car after this game is over.
Maybe I'll give you a lift. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what kind of job you do on the call, because your stats work leaves a little to be desired.
It's gonna be
That
offside.
one's sent into the box, but you
Yeah.
said it, Nick. Offsides, no question.
Does that make it any better now?
I think it does. I think it does. A good eye for detail. Very important.
Always got to check those officials and make sure that the hand goes up.
I love Dolphin Soccer Park. I think the only negative is that we cannot sit close to the window.
Yeah.
The ledge that supports our equipment is great for housing a lot of equipment, but it puts us pretty far from the window. We cannot see the corners.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I really have to do some contorting and leaning out the window. However, we do have a new air conditioner this year, so that's
true.
great news.
As you close the window.
That reminds me, the window shall not be opened.
I think one of the other good things about being back here in the press box is for our PA for sound systems as well. I'll get that point
Here
in a
comes
second.
Mora. Mora working toward the box, sends it ahead, and the flag goes up for offsides.
I think, obviously last year we had to use somewhat of a, I don't know what I guess a speaker on the field.
It was an awful setup. It was a truly awful setup, and I think where it really hurt was in terms of the experience for the student athletes, because we have events like Senior Day, and when all you have is one speaker on your sideline, it's not quite the same.
Right.
When you're in a facility like this with great speakers, good public address talent, and a great script writer,
Right.
at least for the past 3 years.
You know what they say about those script writers.
They get no credits. Thankless job. Goal kick, Staten Island sent it to the midfield and knocked away out of bounds. So while we have a brief break for this throw-in, we'll get you the Felician starters the best I can going down the line. In goal, Riolano. The rest of the starters for the Golden Falcons: Seaton, Rappel, Franco, Augustine, Braun, Kelbert, Eskridge, Mora, Miller, and Kim.
Ooh. Did they hit her right in the face?
Yeah, those can be rough, and sometimes they'll even stop the game and allow the player to get off. Golden Falcons do gain possession back in the midfield. Miller working quickly up toward the far side, met by a pair of Dolphins, looking for Mora. Mora with it on her foot now, working near the corner of the box. And I think she came together with Miller, but Mora still strong over the ball. Sabrina Dorr, at least I thought that was a number 2. It's so hard to tell from this distance, Nick, as that's played back toward goal, and Brianna Dorr sends it away. Yeah, the Dolphins don't have a number 2 out there. However, they do have possession across midfield. Quickly, they surrender that.
I was going to say, I don't remember her being in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
yeah.
Perhaps it was a 5. I think it was 5. That's
you
Millie
are
Hunt.
right.
Yeah. Again, after, I'd say give me 2 games. By the start of Game 3, I'll be able to call the action without even looking at the jersey number. Now, you and I did plan to get some reps in during our first women's soccer scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
However, we were battling against a lack of internet all week last week.
Yep.
So what we did was come back. I came back a couple of days later, worked on it again, and thankfully, before I departed for Orlando, we were able to get that all sorted out. Another new feature of CSI Sportsnet this year with, I would say, generally speaking, my reduced responsibilities in terms of breadth. We're going to do a lot more in terms of Sportsnet coverage. But one thing we can do this year that I plan to take full advantage of, we are going to do audio-only broadcasts for some Dolphin road games. And I don't know if you knew this, Nick, but way back when Sportsnet was founded, what does it say in our 3D graphic there, 2007? I need a cheat sheet.
Yes.
Well, I was not even a student here in 2007, but when David Pizzuto, working alongside Mike Babusky, founded CSI Sportsnet, it began as an audio-only broadcast.
Really?
There was not video. That's why the logo is a microphone.
Okay.
As that ball is sent
Offside.
too far ahead of Jurek, offside flag up as well. But Sportsnet began as an audio-only broadcast, and we are going back to our roots this year. You and I will have the opportunity perhaps to do some road games together. I certainly will do some games solo, but you've visited Stack with me before. If you're up for another trip.
Yeah.
Trip's on me.
Definitely possible. I said to you after that trip we did last year, very fun time, of course, calling that softball action. A great tournament, of course, that was called. You were there for the entire week. I was there for day 1, but it was a very good, overall experience that we had that week in Spark Hill.
They do it right over at Stack. Now, I don't know when the substitution was made, but Sabrina Dorr is in the game.
Yeah.
So we spoke it into existence.
It was 2 minutes ago.
Joe Stradamus. But in terms of road games, room and board on me, free labor on you.
Okay, that's fair.
If you're so inclined.
We're doing so much traveling these next couple of weeks. I'm gonna have to think about it.
You and I have been all over the place.
Yeah.
You were Buffalo and Tennessee?
I was in Tennessee a couple of weeks ago. I'll be in Buffalo in about, the 7th, I believe? No, 6th. I'll be in Buffalo in 10 days.
Very nice.
Yep.
I expect to be in Buffalo for at least one East Coast Conference soccer doubleheader this year, whether that's the Deauville doubleheader or the Damon doubleheader remains to be seen. I expect it to be the Damon doubleheader, which would be the season finale.
And you were there for the baseball tournament, right?
I was there for the baseball tournament. I was there for the East Coast Conference Basketball Championship last year. So a lot of good time spent up in Buffalo as the Golden Falcons look to cross here toward the top of the box. Hammond gets a foot on it. It was played off the body of Miller. She regains possession and plays it back toward midfield.
And I think that's one of the things we're looking forward to the most this year, Joe. A very, very productive 2024 year it was for the Dolphins that led into 25, and obviously a couple playoff appearances for Dolphins athletics. Now looking to see if they can get right back into the the nick of things and make it back to the playoffs for all of the athletics upcoming this season.
And I do have to admit, Nick, there's a lot of excitement that comes with the start of a new season, but I think near the top of the list for me is an endeavor that Alex Mendolia and the women's soccer coaching staff has undertaken the last several weeks. Now, if you're subscribed on Flow, you're getting some insider information right now, so do with it what you wish. But the team is producing a Top Chef-style competition, a cooking competition between the players. As this ball rolls toward the touchline, and it's still loose in the box. The Dolphins trying to clear it out of there, and they do. They'll work it up the far side. But Coach Mendolia and his staff organizing a Top Chef-style cooking competition, and let's just say I might have shared some inspiration with my Hell's Kitchen Photoshops. They loved my work.
Of course.
They now want my editing expertise as the Golden Falcons have a chance here. That shot just high off the foot of Kate Braun. And the flag did not go up. She was onside. Yep. Nick, we'll get one more look at that one.
Yeah, well, I'll see it in just a moment. That was a great shot attempt right there for Felician. Had a chance to go up 1-0 early, but just sailed wide left.
And I think we had a look at that one from the alternate camera as well, Nick. So you may have a bit of a tighter angle from our left side camera, but we began to make the point before with our orientation, our second camera is really only able to focus on the one goal. It is not manually operated, so each team will have a camera focused on the goal where they are shooting in one half. Right now, the Golden Falcons shooting to our left in this first half will have the camera fixed on that goal as this one rolls toward the Felician goalkeeper, Riolano.
His second look at that last shot from the other camera angle. You see just a little bit high left of the post.
Was it a better view?
Yeah. They're both good views.
Very good, very good.
Of course, Pat doing a
Well,
great job.
We know Pat's got it covered.
Yeah.
Does he have a phone in his left hand? I don't think so. Oh, he does.
you just ratted him out.
He does. He's an expert multitasker. He can game and text and stream and operate cameras. He does it all.
Yeah.
Does it all.
Didn't mean to jinx right there, but that's why we're the best.
I don't like to pat ourselves on the back too much, but we do appreciate when parents, athletes, and viewers at home come and express their gratitude for what we do. You and I, as always, Nick, have a blast, but now that it's coming to an end, I think, openly say that there was a lot of extra strain put on the commentary desk the last 3 years, a lot of sprints across the gym, across the field, wherever we were stationed to try and assist with stats operation, the PA operation, and everything else that goes on a game day. And I have to thank our Director of Athletics, Matt Scally, for helping us get the new Assistant Athletic Director started, and not just hired, but starting perhaps at a very good spot. Earlier than we expected when the season began. We knew this was coming during the off season. We did not know that it was coming when the season ended last year, but the job was opened in June, and a decision was made within the last 2 weeks. And our new hire begins on Monday, a very familiar face, and perhaps we'll introduce our new Assistant Athletic Director on Sportsnet during the game. Though I think a lot of our audience may know who it is already, and certainly know this former athlete already if you've been watching Sportsnet for the last probably decade, if you're a fan of CSI Athletics. Dolphins waiting to throw in here.
I would say a very familiar face.
Well, it's a face that's on the wall in the building.
That's true.
Now everyone's going to go looking. Who could it be?
So I play Guess Who?
We've shared the show before on Sportsnet, some interviews, a Dolphin pod.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That was many, many years ago.
And I think they were on one of the halftime games of basketball not too long ago.
You might have been engineering.
I was engineer. I remember they were on the headset for that game. I just don't remember which game it was.
Now they have to go through the archives.
Yeah, they have to go through the archives of that game.
So far in this one, the only real scoring opportunity has belonged to the Golden Falcons, and it came off the foot of Kate Braun. The lone shot on goal belongs to Staten Island.
Kind of what you expected when we were talking about those stats earlier, where these teams do get some shots off, but they're just so evenly matched, it seems like, basing it off of the numbers, that this type of game was going to happen early on.
Dolphins working into the attacking third here, but that's good defensive play by Augustine, and she gave it right back. Ran out of room there along the touchline. Dolphins may look to cross here. A good opportunity for Staten Island. They send it in front, but waiting there was Eskridge, and she will clear out toward midfield off the foot of Rappel.
Yeah, probably the best chance the Dolphins have had in terms of getting something in front of the net, but the cross just wasn't there, unfortunately. Eskridge played it perfectly, and now the Dolphins will set it up once again.
I think that ball needed to be elevated just a bit more. Dolphins will get reset here. Just over 15 and a half minutes to go in half number one. No score between Staten Island and Felician. Season opener for both teams. Home opener for Staten Island, and here they come.
Here comes Hammond.
Jean Belay with it. Left-footed. I believe that was probably a cross attempt, but didn't elevate it once again. Didn't get all of it either.
They're trying to set up something in the middle.
This is Castro. And Castro sends one wide. And a player is down for the Golden Falcons. So while we have an injury timeout, I thought perhaps we head to a 30-second break, but the trainer is not going to be waved out. And heading off the field under her own power is Kaylee Rappel.
Just mentioning while you were away, very good day here for some soccer, and weather turning out very nice. A little bit humid, but overall great day for the first day of CSI Athletics, of course, and great crowd here today as well.
Season opener typically draws very well, and I think with the excitement that you mentioned surrounding this year after what was a very successful 2024, I think by any estimation the Dolphins have to be proud of what they accomplished as a program during 2024. Their first ever berth in a conference championship, men's basketball to the ECC semis, baseball, first ever postseason appearance, swimming and diving with an All-American diver in Yubal Para, more records broken by other Dolphins as well. Their season gets started, I believe, 4 weeks from today, perhaps 4 weeks from yesterday. I think their first meet might be on a Friday. If not a Friday, it's definitely on a Saturday. This is Hammond in the midfield. Speaking of records and standout performances last year, cross country we wrote the record books last year as well. As that was a good ball, but it was headed away. Eskridge with another good defensive play trying to shield Jean Belay off the ball. But that program, cross country that is, graduated some key contributors. They're in action today at the LIU Fall Festival. And Nick, not only am I in charge of the box and our operation for the final time today, it also could be the final time that I create a game day graphic.
And how much you love those graphics.
You know, when I was full-time, I took a ton of pride in the graphics. I put a lot of time into it. You had that time when you're here. In my case, I was, I believe, working 10 to 3 on a typical work day, and then the game day hours that went beyond that would get me to the full-time 40. But we had, and this is many years ago, you could probably dig far back and find it on Twitter, but we used to have fully animated game day graphics. So it wasn't just a photo with an edit. As we'll wait here.
There's a chance
for what could be a scoring opportunity.
Offside.
Not to be. But we used to have a graphic with an athlete in the middle, whether it be an action shot or a posed media day shot, and we'd have what looked like stadium lights in the top corner, and they would flicker on, and you would hear the noise as well. You would hear the noise of like a big switch turning on the lights, and then it would illuminate the image in the middle.
Oh, okay.
It was a design I was really proud of, one of my favorite projects.
Move.
As the Dolphins again try and cross, shot on goal, saved. That found an opening in the middle. We'll get one more look at it. But a scoring opportunity for the Dolphins. That was Isabella Schlee with the scoring chance from in close. And Nick, I did not think they had a window to fit that cross in.
Well, first you got to commend the spin move right there to set up the pass. And then they got the shot right on net, but a great stop to keep this game scoreless.
Who was that working up the wing, Nick? Can you make it out on replay?
I will double check.
I think Dorr right now is over at that wing. That may have been Dorr.
Yeah, it looked like it. I'm going to make sure that's the case.
She's positioned over there along that far sideline right now. I'd be inclined to say it was because given the way that they're aligned here, I think that would match what we just saw. But again, give us 2. At most 3 games, and we'll be able to make that call without the assistance of the numbers. And now Felician with a big opportunity here. It's another chance for Braun. She's moving in toward the box, one-on-one with Dorr, and she scores. Felician University strikes for the first goal of this match. It is their first goal of the 2025 season, and Kate Braun has put the Golden Falcons in front 1-0.
And Braun once again, Joe, finding that open lane, got all the way towards the net, and this time got Dorr to come out from the net and try to get the stop. No avail right there. Felician starts their season with a goal to go up 1-0.
And a great ball to set her up. And, Nick, we've seen it more than once already in this half. an offsides flag go up against the Falcons. That was very close. No doubt the right calls, but if they could have just timed up a couple more runs a bit better, they would have had more chances in this first half just like that. Braun makes no mistake there.
Yeah. Do we got to tell him to announce the goal?
I was going to tell him to start the clock, Nick. The clock was not running. Golden Falcons looking for more here. And they may have a chance for it, but that's a good intercept by Castro. It ends up right back on the foot of Franco, who tried to cross. Dolphins still trying to gain possession back. It's on the foot of Braun, bending ball wide. Braun with a good effort there. Not much time to step into that one. Effectively one-timed it with the right foot, sent it a bit high and wide. 11 minutes to go now in the first half. Dolphins trailing 1-0.
Trying to also look to see who got that assist. I think that was number 7. I think that was Seaton that got the assist on that goal.
Now, Nick, I think you had the box earlier. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I don't believe the Dolphins have ever trailed against the Golden Falcons. I think I had that in my notes, but those notes are for the pregame, as that's going to be a foul against the Dolphins. Potentially a yellow card coming out here, and it is a yellow. So Karina Vasquez shown the yellow card. It's going to be a free kick for the Golden Falcons. Not an overly dangerous spot, but you have to watch along that back post from this area of the pitch. I don't think you see many players attempt the shot from here, but you certainly are in a good position to cross.
So looking back at what you were mentioning, Joe, looking to see if they have trailed once, and they have not.
They have not. I didn't think so. And there's a shot on goal, easily saved by Dorr.
Felician goal scored by number 18, Kate Braun.
Kate Braun officially announced as the goal scorer. I'll have to pull up those live stats and get the assist. It was a good ball.
I think it was by Seaton. If looking back at the replay, that's where I think it came from. That was what I was mostly intently looking on.
All right, they're probably going to go back to the video and add it, but we have a spotter in there. What are you doing, Sam?
I did say that should be something, and it will.
The only question is whether or not it will be a yellow card. I say probably not.
I don't think it will.
Though, admittedly, Nick, we are by no means experts on what constitutes a yellow card. Now, I don't want to spoil it, and I have to get permission to use it on the air. I'm sure I'll get it without a problem. But what we're going to do, I'm thinking perhaps the last game this month, and we'll explain why that is later. But the last game of September, we have a video we need to go back and look at. As John Belay sends one toward goal. That's a good bending ball off the crossbar. It stays in play. But I think a Dolphin was offsides.
I think that is indeed the case, Joe.
Yeah, one of the Dolphins got caught offsides.
What a shot, though. As you mentioned, just hitting that top right crossbar.
Now, we're going to go back at the end of the month. We have a video clip that I'm eager to share on the air. Again, I have to get permission to use it. But it is a question of no card, yellow card, red card. And it's a foul that was committed in a soccer match. I'm not going to give you any context. All I want you to do is let me know. Red card, yellow card, nothing. We'll ask Aaron if he's here with us perhaps and get our engineer's opinion if we have an engineer that day. But what we're going to do is pose the question to our crew and to our audience. And then it's the big reveal. As another foul is called against Felician, and very quickly, that's a pair of fouls against Kelbert in a very short time frame. She has to be careful.
No card there, but as you mentioned, a Dolphin free kick coming up here. Have to think they'll try to cross this, set up a shot.
Yeah, I thought perhaps they might cross it on the last one, but Jean Belay put a quality shot toward goal.
I think basing off where right now they're positioned, I think you have to cross it at this spot if you're Castro.
Castro, the free kick taker, sends it back post. A lot of traffic. It's loose in front. Still loose. Shot just wide. Chance for the Dolphins as there was a mad scramble after that ball. It looked like Riolano got her mitts on it but could not secure it. And the Dolphins, off the foot of Mia Cole, had a chance to get even with just over 7:30 to go in the half.
You'll see it right here. They couldn't position it. It looked like it was going to be caught for a second, just got loose, and the Dolphins were just a mere inches away from tying this game at 1.
What a chance for the Dolphins and a chance for a big-time score on her debut for Mia Cole. It remains a 1-0 match with just over 7 minutes to go in this first half. And, Nick, the action really has picked up the last 10 or 15 minutes. It was a bit of a slow start. No real quality chances for either side, but these two teams now seem to have found their footing. As there's a nice intercept in the midfield, but the Dolphins couldn't keep it.
Is that a pun in there?
Where?
Seen they have found their footing? In a soccer game?
Perhaps.
I didn't know if that was intentional
It
or
was
not.
We're not going to name names, but some members of the crew do come with some pre-prepared puns.
It's true.
Now, if I said it was Nick, you're also Nick. We don't know. Which Nick is it?
I might have thrown 1 or 2 in my day.
He's as witty as they come, Nick Durr. Some of the stuff he comes up with, I don't know where he pulls it from.
Hey, listen, the players love it.
They do love it.
They do love it.
And he's great at what he does. And a lot of the time, I think it makes for some good programming. He stumps me with his pop culture references. I'll give him a deadpan look. I'm like, Nick,
I think
where are you going? What do you mean?
One game you asked me after, what does this mean? I told you, that's what it is?
He's given us Dua Lipa lyrics, Taylor Swift lyrics.
Rihanna.
And, I mean, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know Dua Lipa. I wouldn't know Rihanna. I wouldn't know Taylor Swift lyrics. It's just not my kind of music, you know? I think it's very relevant to this generation of student athletes. I think... I think Taylor Swift burst onto the scene when I was in high school, but I was never a big pop culture follower, and I'm more of a trendsetter. Unapologetically unique in my ways. As the Dolphins have a chance here, Felician forced to retreat a bit, and I think that's going to be a foul on John Belay. It will.
You got to be careful, Joe, when you talk about Taylor Swift. If you offend one person, the Swifties are going to come after you.
Yeah, let's just say around Super Bowl time, when it came time to stock the shelves over at Real Deal Fan Gear, Travis Kelce was one of my favorite players,
sure
and
he was.
The Aaron Andrews Chiefs line was very popular with the customers, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Are they engaged?
They got engaged, yeah.
Man.
I think.
Good thing I didn't watch the game last night.
I think 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
How many appearances during the game last night?
I don't know. You and I
were together.
Yeah. I caught the last of it when I got home, last 5 minutes, but I listened to the game on the car ride home. But I didn't catch any of the game, unfortunately.
I am looking forward to a Sunday filled with football tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have the NFL all day, and tomorrow night I'm calling a game in Finland.
Yeah.
Remote broadcasting. No shameless plugs here, but
good thing you said remote, because they would have been thinking, how are you getting to Finland?
I can be anywhere at any time calling any game. All you have to do is know where to find me.
Yeah.
That can be a bit tough. But if it's a game day at CSI, you know where I'll be.
Yeah, that's true.
Game day at CSI, we don't miss any of those, especially now with our broadcast housed here on Flow. Dolphins will throw here. 3:55 to go in the first half. And again, Felician will spill it over the sideline. Dolphins throw. And we said it quite a bit last year, Nick, but I think something that plagued this Dolphins team, even in the games where they were closely competitive, they didn't score first.
Right.
It wasn't a situation where the team was repeatedly shut out. They did struggle for goals last year, no question about it, but it wasn't a situation where this team simply could not find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. It was more of allowing your opponent to get out in front early, and against a team that did struggle for goal quantity, that puts you in a position where you can afford to play a bit more conservatively on defense and perhaps coast to a victory. Oftentimes, 2 goals was enough. Both teams have had their chances here in this first half. The 2 best chances for the Golden Falcons belonging to Kate Braun. She converted one of those for a goal. Mia Cole had a chance for a goal in close. Cole with a chance for a goal. Oh, that's going to be quite the call if she's able to put one in. Cole with the goal. Here come the Golden Falcons with a chance. Cross toward the front of goal, and it's cleared away by the Dolphins. Noonan has it, plays it back in, and again it's chipped in the air by CSI. And that one is off the foot.
That should be a corner upcoming here.
Yeah, it's going to be a corner. It was off the foot of Millie Hunt, and I thought maybe Dorr might get there, but she couldn't get to it.
Yeah.
And I believe, Nick, this is our first corner of the match.
It is. As we just are about to hit the 2-minute mark here in this first half.
See if Felician takes their time with this one. Perhaps a chance for our second camera here, Nick.
It's true.
Now, can you see the corner kick taker in the frame?
No.
All right, so once the ball travels in,
yes,
make that switch.
Yes.
It should be a closer look. We'll see where they play this one. Clock winding down inside of 140. That ball sent toward the center of the box, headed wide. Big chance there for Felician off the head of Emmy Eskridge. And we'll get one more look at it from in tight.
Yeah, you'll see it here in just a moment, Joe. Well, it was a pretty close shot from that corner, and it just missed about wide left.
Dolphins now with it in the midfield.
Here's a second look. Asker's got a great shot right there, but just missed it left.
1 minute to go here in the first half. Did our scoreboard out there always display like that with the fractions?
Yep.
2-digit fractions?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time since we've been here, Nick, and it's been, for you and I now, about 4 months since we've been on the call here on Sportsnet.
Yes.
About that?
Yeah.
Now, I didn't call the final baseball games with you, and I did not call the conference championship. Our final baseball games were the first weekend of May?
I believe so, yes. I was on the call with Sam for
That's right.
a couple of those games. Look out.
We're going to have to start calling them Whalen.
Yeah.
Hint, hint. 13 seconds to go in the half. Goal kick upcoming here for Felician, though they secured the ball. It did not roll over the touchline to set up Riolano, and Golden Falcons will not do anything with it as the first half comes to a close from Dolphin Soccer Park. We have reached halftime at the College of Staten Island. Our score, the Felician University Golden Falcons 1 and the College of Staten Island 0. We are going to throw it to an ad break here during halftime. If you do not receive ads, you will not have audio at this point. Nick and I will be muted. We need to get access to the shared ECC commercial Dropbox folder. Hopefully I can do that either sometime tonight or tomorrow. But for now, we'll throw it to some ads from our friends over at Flow Sports. And when we come back, the Golden Falcons take a 1-0 lead into the second half. Joe Foreman and Nicholas Pavona back with you here on CSI Sportsnet. Of course, now a proud part of the Flow College Network. And Nick, this is our first Flow Sports broadcast. It's been a good one so far. A bit of a slow start in terms of fast-paced action. But at about, I'd say, the 25-minute mark in that first half, these two teams really began to dial it up in terms of scoring chances. Two big opportunities for Kate Braun. One of those found the back of the net. On the other side for the College of Staten Island, Albana Jeanbalai on a free kick sent one off the crossbar. Mia Cole from in close off of a Dolphins cross had a chance in front. Her shot traveled just wide. The Dolphins come up empty on their two chances. The Golden Falcons go 1 for 2 on theirs, and they lead it 1-0 at the start of the second half.
Yeah, it kind of felt like the first 30 minutes of this first half, Joe, was a little bit, back and forth, not really a lot of shots getting put on net. And then the last 15 minutes, both teams are getting very aggressive. We saw, of course, the first goal of the game, and of course, obviously the first goal of the season happening here at Dolphin Soccer Park. But I think now coming into the second half of your CSI, we mentioned it last year where a lot of the issues for them were trailing in these games. Now they're trailing early on in this one. Let's see if this newer type of squad can come back from this early 1-0 deficit.
And we went back, and officially the assist on the Felician goal was credited to Kaylee Seaton. Once again, Kate Braun with the lone goal of the match to make it 1-0 at the time, and that is where we stand right now at the start of half number 2. Dolphins and Golden Falcons in the season opener for both teams. Home opener here at the College of Staten Island. And Felician with it to begin the second half. Unable to track it down near the touchline, but they did let it go in order to obtain the corner kick. So a nice job there to shield Castro off the ball. And the Golden Falcons will set up for the corner.
Yeah, second corner of the day. We saw what happened the last time, Joe, with one of these corners for Felician. They were very close.
Very
going
close.
Up 2-0.
Very close. No corners yet for the Dolphins, as Nick mentioned. Second of the game for Felician. Corner kick sent near post. No shooting lane there. Dolphins looking to clear, and they do get it out of the box. And a good job there by Cole to cut off the angle for Melanie Perez, and now Cole working her way toward the midfield stripe. Still being challenged, and down she goes. Almost got stepped on there. Free kick Staten Island following that Felician foul.
I believe that was Perez on the foul right there, leading this Dolphins free kick.
Going back to that 2021 matchup, Dolphins in that game won it after a late Golden Falcons foul. It set up a free kick that rebounded, I believe, off of the post and then off of Nadia Evola and in to win the game. But the Dolphins winning it via the golden goal. First match in this facility 4 years ago as the Golden Falcons get a shot off here, but not much on it. And staying down following that shot attempt to Sierra Moretto.
She is slow to get up, but looks like she'll stay in for the moment.
Dolphins had a player advantage briefly there as Moretto worked her way back to her feet. CSI now with it in the midfield, but a poor touch there, and it's taken away by Felician. Dolphins do track it down. And getting a look out there, the Dolphins utilizing a lot of players in this match, and head coach Alex Mendolia getting a chance to see what he has.
And you tend to see that a lot with most of these athletics where you're trying to see how these new players will fit your style of play for the season. And, of course, being the first game of the year, you want to see how they come out on top here on this first game and see if they can provide you production as the season goes on.
Dolphins were scheduled for 2 scrimmages this season. This preseason, that is. They only played 1. And you would have loved to have had that second outing during the preseason to get a look at the new additions a bit more.
Door's going to be called for the foul right there. Will lead to a free kick.
Golden Falcons creeping forward a bit, perhaps. I didn't think that foul was that far up. Free kick taken by Augustine.
Yeah, I thought that was behind the line instead of
Yeah,
front.
they'll give you some grace, the referees will. Strong dribbling there to get into a scoring position by Eskridge, and she tried to play Moretto through. She got tangled up with 2 Dolphins, no chance for a shot.
Dolphins certainly grateful there wasn't a foul call there.
Yeah, it's really tough to draw that whistle as an attacker when you have 2 backs in the area converging on you. It's just not a situation where you have any advantage as an attacker, and it's tough to call a foul in that spot when you have no advantage as an attacker moving in toward the box.
Being summoned to the room next door. Joe's going to check that real quickly. As the Dolphins will try to see if they can set up something here, but offsides is called. And it'll lead to a free kick for Felician. So for now, it's a stats issue. We'll see if that gets corrected, hopefully quickly, as for the time being, I'll be on the call, and Felician will now go down the pitch, looking to set up something here, but looks like it's just a little bit too out in front. And Storr will kick that one away for the Dolphins, and it will go out of play, leading to a throw-in. Perez kicks that one back to Riolano. Now the Dolphins will have it towards the mid-pitch, center. That one kicked away. Dorr will try to run that one down towards the corner. And she will run out of real estate, leading to another throw-in for Felician. Just at the 39-minute mark here in the second half. Very different style of contrast from the first half. So early on, the Dolphins trying to be very aggressive, and you tend to not really shocked to see that, considering that they're trailing by a goal already. Dolphins looking for the call, and it looks like they're going to get it. Cirinelli drawing that foul right there. I believe that was on Braun. So the Dolphins will have a free kick here. We'll see if they try to set up a pass, or if Kaylin Thompson will try to shoot this one from where she's at. Thompson weighing her options. She shoots it, but wide right of the post. And that will lead to a goal kick coming here for Felician. So you mentioned earlier the Dolphins have had some chances in this game. Officially still without a shot on net. Or actually, I should say they do have a shot on net. Their second shot did go off the top of the post. So officially one shot on goal so far in this game. That came back from Charsky in the first half. Riolano now will send that one away. Charsky's the one that gets ahead on it, but now it's goes towards Felician. Felician trying to add to their 1-0 lead. And now if another foul is called, then time will be stopped. With 36:59 to go. I believe that was Castro. Trying to get a look at the number. She took a big shot towards the middle of the pitch, and that was indeed Castro. So she will get a free kick coming here for the Dolphins. She sends that one away. It wasn't the best kick, unfortunately, but the Dolphins still have it. Dolphins trying to set themselves up for something down the right side of the pitch. Good footwork right there, leading to a pass in the middle. Now the Dolphins will once again set it up. Castro looking for the shot, and it will be saved right there by Riolano. Might have been a little bit left of the goal, so I'm not sure if that will count as a shot on goal. But certainly is the Dolphins' best chance they've had so far here in the second half. Good attempt by Castro. Riolano kicked that one away. Dolphins once again have it. This is Dorr to Cirinelli. And the Dolphins are whistled for offsides. Felician kicks it away after the offside of the Dolphins. And time is called as, again, Castro, I mentioned it before, took a big shot earlier in this half. Had a shot attempt just a few moments ago. And you have to think that shot to maybe tweak something once again for her. Looks like that lower left leg is where it's currently bothering her. As she slowly will come off the pitch with 35:43 to go in this second half. So she will be replaced. You hate to see that on the opening day. Castro going off towards the sideline. Having the wristband on her sleeve here today as I'm being rejoined by my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman. Hopefully everything is well to the room to our right.
It wouldn't be a home soccer match if I didn't have to go into the room next door and assist with the subs for the second half. And the reason we're having problems...
I thought that was maybe the issue. I just didn't know.
Look, the reason we're having problems is because we're trying to make the substitutions before you click the ready for kickoff button. If you try and make substitutions before you hit the ready for kickoff button, it doesn't properly list the players who were last in the game. I don't know why it does that, but it doesn't properly list those players. And then when you go to sub in a player, they're not there because you already have the wrong players listed. And then because the wrong players are listed, the players you're looking for are not in the bottom. It creates a mess. But we figured it out, and we are good to go at the stats desk next door.
Well, Joe, we just saw a few moments ago, Gabriela Castro just went off to the sideline. Had a very scary spot earlier in this half and had a recent shot. But as I was mentioning to our listeners at home, it looked like that shot that might have re-aggravated the injury that she sustained earlier in this half. As now the Dolphins will have to try to see if they can find someone to replace her production.
That ball rolling up the field, being chased down by Felician in their own end. Cole there for the Dolphins as well. Was battling against Perez. Golden Falcons working it up the far side. And they have it now in the midfield. Getting a foot on it was Brown. This is Dorr with it. Retreating across the midfield stripe. Serenelli sends one up the pitch. Good ball right onto the foot of an attacker. That was a Sola, but tried to make the quick pass. Couldn't connect with Vasquez. Throw in Felician here. Just over 34 minutes to play in the half. Long ball sent the entire width of the box, nearly the entire width of the pitch. And two players tripping up one another as that went out.
No call right there. It looks like Felician was looking for the call for a second, but it's a Dolphin throw-in.
Short throw, headed by Dorr, but it immediately rolls onto the foot of Miller. Played back into the midfield. Noonan sends one toward the logo. Eskridge giving chase. Strong touch toward the corner. And it looks like a good touch. She will meet that ball in play, sending it into the box. Finds an attacker. Quick turn. Charsky there in good body position. Did not allow Stanzik to get a shot off. I apologize. That's Stanicic who looked to shoot there. That's why the pronunciation guides are so valuable, Nick. Thing is, whenever I have a pronunciation guide that belongs to a roster, I print double-sided.
Yeah.
So you have to give it the quick flip.
Yep. Nonetheless, though, Joe, it's going to be a corner once again for Felician here. Their third of this game.
Corner on its way. A low line drive kick toward the near post. Immediately rebounds back toward the corner. The Dolphins get a foot on it in the middle. It takes a good Golden Falcons bounce. And now they may look to shoot again. Dolphins getting a foot in there. That was Schlee knocking that ball away. Now Thompson working.
I think it's going to lead to another corner.
There's big contact along the touchline. And you're right, Nick. It will be another corner kick.
Talk about how, difficult it is sometimes for you to come back from one goal. Dolphins trying to avoid a 2-goal deficit.
Golden Falcons putting some good pressure on the Dolphins here early in the second half. Dolphins been pinned back in this end for a few minutes now. Corner, a good one in traffic, punched up in the air and headed away. think Dorr was the first to make contact with that ball. Again, Felician possessing in the attacking third. That one sent toward the top of the box, bodied away by the Dolphins, but an open attacker with it on her foot now. It's Franco. Played well by Brown, and again, Felician will set up for a corner kick. And Nick, corners piling up, the pressure firmly upon this Dolphins defense and goalkeeper Brianna Dorr.
Yeah, and Dorr was indeed the person that got a hand on that last corner, Joe, looking back on the replay. So good job by Dorr. Was head-butted away, just enough for the Dolphins to avoid any other shot attempt. But as you mentioned, another corner upcoming here for Felician.
30 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in half number 2. Dolphins still trailing 1-0. Felician looking for more. The corner on its way again. Center of the box, travels through everybody. No chance for Miller to turn and shoot. That ball rolling along the touchline. It's kept in. Serenelli with a good job to maintain possession. She had it knocked away. It's a Dolphins throw. Dolphins just trying to work their way out of their own end here. Throw to Thompson, right back to Serenelli. Long ball sent across the midfield stripe. Cole giving chase, and Cole bearing down. Makes big contact there with Augustine.
Yeah, she got called for the foul on that one.
She was moving so quickly up the field that if at any point Augustine stopped, she was definitely getting run over, and that's exactly what happened. Inside of 30 minutes to play now. Free kick for the Golden Falcons. They have not been threatened here in the second half, at least not while I've been in the room, Nick. Didn't get a chance to look up as I was trying to get the substitutions. We had all the numbers written down. I had to figure out what the issue was on the technical side of things. Ball with the Golden Falcons here, but a bit too strong on that pass. And the Dolphins have it back. Dolphins with some quick passing as they work toward the midfield. Jarrett got it away, but could not connect with a teammate. And Felician will throw. We have a whistle here. I believe they stopped the clock as well. Now, we do have our scoreboard, Nick. I don't think we need it here.
No, I've been stopping and starting.
I think we're good. And typically we're going to have a dedicated engineer.
Yeah.
We have that schedule all laid out. I think it's you and I one more time next week on Wednesday. And then after that, I think we have an engineer for every other game. I think you're the engineer for one game on the 24th.
Probably, yeah.
You're more than welcome to put a headset on.
Well, I think, also it's getting, for me, obviously, with the new change to flow, I'm trying to get into the rhythm of things. Of course, for basketball later in the year, it'll be you, Nick, and I on the call for all of those games. So trying to get my foot in the door of operating this new system that we have.
The only major difference is that in order to push to flow via, now I don't want to bore people with technical details, but we're pushing via a different protocol. That's all it is, really. And it requires an extra program in the setup. That's all. So rather than pushing directly from where we're engineering, we're pushing that out into a second program, which then streams to flow.
So we have Aaron on the 24th?
We have Aaron on the 24th. And I think we have him for one more date as well. I'll have to confirm. But I know for sure we have Aaron on the 24th. And our game day preview today in the How to Watch section, you, Aaron, and I all got a mention.
Very nice.
Something else that I worked on during the last week was really bolstering the Sportsnet landing page. That's going to be effectively ours to monitor, so we can update that however we see fit. Of course, our Meet the Team section features all of us. How much longer will it feature Andrew is the question.
Does he have? He got his photo, right?
He got a photo.
Okay.
He got in for one game last year, so he stayed.
Okay.
Will he get one more this year?
That's a good question.
Aaron needs a photo.
That's also true.
Off the throw-in, the Dolphins trying to gain possession, and it's chipped away by Felician. Strong play there once again on the ball. There's an intercept by Thompson. Can't connect on that pass. Brown trying to get to it in the midfield. Now Serenelli has it. Looking for Dorr. Dorr with a good touch, but couldn't get to it on the turn, and she drew the foul.
So we saw already one Dolphin free kick on this side, Joe. Now the Dolphins will get another one. So the last time they went with the shot attempt, will they go with it again as they try to tie this game?
When you have one of these upcoming and you're genuinely not sure of what a team's going to do, makes it a bit more difficult to prepare defensively. Serenelli, the free kick taker, looking to cross toward the back post. Runner there. And unable to get to it in time was Jean Belay.
Good attempt right there by the Dolphins, but as you mentioned, just a little bit out in front for Jambalaya. That will lead to a goal kick upcoming for Felician.
Definitely going to have to work on the tripod. It is clearly not stable enough. A brand new tripod, a quality tripod, but I'm watching the playback and it is just not stable. I went out there at halftime as well, and I think it's just defective. It is way too tight, and probably have to spray it with some WD-40.
Yeah.
It's definitely not moving as it should. We have the same exact tripod, my personal one, and no issues there as that ball rolls over the touchline. But again, Nick, you and I were scheduled to go through a full test broadcast last week. The internet did not allow it, so we couldn't do it. And effectively, today is our first run. I think, considering we got on the air for kickoff, it's going pretty well.
I was going to say, outside of losing the audio pre-game, I think everything's gone well so far.
Yeah. The internet up here, nearly a gigabit. And that's a gigabit upload, not download. That is blazing fast internet. Unfortunately, the firewall on this network is very problematic as the Dolphins are whistled for a foul here. Dolphins done a good job to turn things around a bit the last couple of minutes. They were pinned back in their own end, corner after corner. Opportunities for Felician, none of those resulting in a quality shot. And the Dolphins putting some pressure on, specifically with that free kick. They did not miss connecting on that by much. They had Jean Belay coming in with a lot of room along that back post. Golden Falcons with it now, working along the midfield stripe. They retreat just a bit toward their own end. That ball a bit wide of the target, but circling toward it and getting there was Augustine. Noonan, quick pass toward the middle of the pitch. Ball on the foot of Hammond now. Serenelli up the near side. Has Dorr, but that ball just a bit off target as well. Noonan back to her goalkeeper. Riolano looking. Long ball sent toward the far side. Jean Belay gets there. Jean Belay with some speed now toward the box. Good move there to avoid her marker. Cross in the middle off the foot of Cole, but deflected back in the other direction. And Thompson almost able to connect with Cole there. Pass interrupted. And a lot of pressure applied from behind on C there. Just got it away, and now see the intended target on that pass. Had it skip right by her.
Well, I think we're seeing a more aggressive team here in the second half, Joe, from this Dolphins squad. They have been making some nice plays, getting the passing, trying to get that one knocked down. But you saw a good move right there by Jambalaya trying to set up that shot.
Ooh, great ball there by Cole. And Jean Belay just couldn't connect with it. But she was there. And we're going to have a host of substitutions here for the Golden Falcons. 23:40 to go, and they've stopped the clock.
I think water break?
Water break it is. All right, Nick, let's throw it to a 2-minute break. When we come back, it is 1-0 Felician over Staten Island. And we are back from Dolphins Soccer Park with 23:40 to go here in the second half of a 1-0 match. Felician University leading the College of Staten Island in this 2025 season opener for both teams. Of course, this is the home opener for CSI. And for us here on Sportsnet, it is our debut broadcast on Flow Sports. We thank everyone who has chosen to subscribe and look forward to to being with you all season long. Joe Foreman alongside Nicholas Bavona on the call. And Nick, I think it's safe to say that between the two of us, we will be on every broadcast this season. I certainly will be on all but maybe one. But I think you've probably determined you're not missing more than one or two, I think.
I
can't imagine, right?
I don't think I'm missing much.
Yeah,
if
I doubt you're missing much. Last year I missed a few, but now with the broadcast being priority number one,
Right.
we'll work our schedule around the CSI schedule.
I think I missed maybe 2 soccer games, and I think I was there for mostly every basketball, baseball, and softball, of course.
I don't think I missed one basketball broadcast last year. The game where I wasn't present physically, I called it from Florida. Corner kick, Staten Island here. That one sent toward goal, and Riolano corrals it. Good strong hands there from the Golden Falcons goalkeeper, but that's another option as well always. If my situation prevents me from being present physically, we have the ability to set up the entire broadcast with me doing the game remotely.
Right.
It's not easy, but it is doable.
We did one last year with you when you were, I think you were going to basketball's tournament.
Well, I was on the phone for
You were
that
on the
game.
phone for that one,
In the
though.
future, I have a
Yes.
headset, so
Right.
it will not sound like I'm on a phone call
Right.
anymore. That was a first run. And for a first run, it went pretty
Yeah.
well until I found out the second half had no audio.
Of the baseball game? Oh, no, I was
No.
talking about baseball, but there was a
Baseball.
basketball one, too.
Yes, the
Forgot about
basketball
that.
second half had no
Yes.
audio. Tyler was very distraught when I told him.
That was one of those where I couldn't really help him either because I was doing stats, so
Yeah.
it was really nothing I could do.
Well, that will not be a problem in the future. That's what we have an assistant AD for communications for. If for whatever reason I'm not here, we have backup.
Right. Always good to have backups.
You were the backup last year, and I don't think you're great, Nick, but you're not compensated well enough to be the backup as that sent on goal and saved by Riolano.
I did the best I could.
You did great because we didn't have to pay you any extra. So as far as I'm concerned, you've paid your dues and then some, which is why, regardless of our situation this year, you are with me in here. Well-deserved and earned.
Happy to be here.
And Cole just couldn't get to that ball without making the sliding attempt. But if she was able to keep her footing and run straight through it, that's big-time trouble for the Golden Falcons. And looking back at some of the meetings between these two teams, the shot totals in those games, at least for the Dolphins, a bit higher than what we've seen today. As Dorr races for the corner, she gets there. Working along the touchline, has a step, runs out of room, down she goes. And a foul was called outside of the box. A free kick from a very dangerous position here.
Great chance here for CSI. Just alongside. Can they set up a shot in the middle to tie this game?
As a goalkeeper, these can be tough to track. A free kick from right along the touchline. Now, if you're diagramming things, you want a left-footed kicker or a right-footed kicker?
I would think right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Serenelli, the free kick taker, sent one right toward the dot. Only one Dolphin in the area. Charsky now retreating. Nice move over the ball. Serenelli tried to gain a step, was defended well. Ball pinballing around. Serenelli has it back now. She tripped over the ball. Still keeps it. The Fanatics want a corner.
They got it.
And they got it. Well, there's no doubting what facility we are calling this game from. Now, you and I are in the press box. The window is probably 98% of the way closed. Only our wires feeding through. But we may get a tighter look at this one off the foot.
Sort of switch it to our other camera once the ball gets towards the net.
Some Dolphins in the stands want women's soccer to play this one short. It's a back post cross over everybody. Hammond meets it in the opposite corner, hoping to perhaps earn another corner kick here. Hammond still strong over the ball, looked to cross, and it was deflected. Dolphins will throw.
And I think one thing, we usually don't stat. I don't think we do this stat, but the time of possession has been pretty much all
don't.
Dolphins here
We
in the
don't.
second half.
Well, early in the half, the Golden Falcons had the ball for much of the early going.
Right.
Dolphins were really pinned back in their own end for, I'd say, 8 of the first 10 minutes.
Yep.
But since that time, the Dolphins have done a pretty good job. Did they get them for a foul or offsides?
Offside. I believe it was called offside.
Free kick here for the Golden Falcons as we approach 17 and a half minutes to go. Though the Dolphins have had some good possession time here in half number 2, they haven't had that one major threat of a scoring chance where you felt like they were just inches away from leveling the score. You did feel that way with the chance by Cole in the first half, and certainly on the free kick as Serenelli commits the foul.
Yeah, that's one the Dolphins would like to have back, obviously, Joe, because it was one where it wasn't really handled well in the net by Riolano, and Cole, as you mentioned, had a great chance. It just went wide right of the post. 17 minutes left, the Dolphins still have a chance, but a chance here now for Felician trying to go up 2.
Free kick toward the top of the box. It was headed. Dolphins attempted to clear, could not.
I think offsides was going to be called regardless, though.
Yeah, the flag is up. You have a better view of that corner than I do, Nick.
Yeah.
16:40 to go. Free kick Dolphins taken quickly. Dorr now chasing. And she won't get there. Shielded off the ball nicely by Noonan. Throw in for the Golden Falcons. Substitutions coming on.
I think believes
At least
2
I
for
thought
each side.
so. Yeah, I thought they were waving on subs. Both teams making some changes here.
Looks like Dorr and Charsky are coming out for the Dolphins.
Hunt and Rodriguez in.
Yes.
Picking it up already.
I was confident Hunt. I was trying to get the number. Trying to get Rodriguez's number.
I think by the end of game 2, I won't need the uniform numbers.
That's all you mentioned. Thankfully, it's no longer white on white because
Well, the men are the ones guilty of the white on white
I know.
uniforms. Coach Mendolia would never do that to me.
No. Those were really tough, especially when we were doing stats. It was there was a point where we were trying to write down the players' names and we said orange cleats this player. We were going by cleats and stuff just to get the player
that's what
names.
you have to do when you can't make out any uniform numbers.
Yeah.
But women's soccer head coach Alex Mendolia would not do that to me, and if he did, he would have to find a new co-editor for his Top Chef project. I'm sure they had a lot of fun filming that. A bit salty that I wasn't invited, even though I wasn't here.
Now, is the competition already over?
It's over.
It's already over?
It's
okay.
over, and I wasn't there for it, and I'm quite disappointed about it. They should have at least had me video in from Florida. As that ball sent toward the sideline, and I think a foul was called against Felician there. That was Kim, guilty of the foul. I got to look at the unfinished product from last year's competition, and I'm very excited about what the final product will be this year.
Okay.
This is Cole looking for a passing lane. Now Rodriguez trying to work back toward the middle. She lost her footing. Racing up the far side toward the corner is Stanicic, and she's dispossessed by Brown. And down goes Brown. And I'll tell you, Nick, shots like that, they end up in the netting. But in the past, those have ended up in windshields.
Yeah.
There's a reason I'm parked near the woods.
It's a good thing there's still somewhat of construction going on where, cars usually parked in the front row. So I feel that's no longer the case.
The parking lot is VIP access only this season for those who hope to attend games here at Dolphin Soccer Park. If you're not working the game, unfortunately, you will have to park across the way.
I mistakenly did that regardless.
Well, I was about to say you didn't make the cut for VIP access.
Well, I was told last time to move it. That's the only reason I did it again.
Yeah, I mean, you're not carrying equipment, so you really don't need to park there.
Yeah.
That ball nearly trickled through, but
So what's Pat's excuse then?
he had none. His excuse was, I didn't know. Nobody told me.
I think they stopped the clock, and they did.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, Nick, that it's a great day for soccer in terms of weather, and I don't think you can ask for much better.
But I think the humidity started to play a factor late here in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's where I was going. It looks like the players definitely a bit gassed. It is game one, and you're going to see that to begin the season from time to time. But
now, was that Brown that's coming off?
yeah, that's Brown coming off,
She
and she
was-
took that hard fall.
Yeah, I was going to say, she was holding the back of her head, so I think that was also a big reason why she's coming off, too.
And no chances will be taken with head injuries. We know that.
Yeah. We'll see who subs in for the Dolphins.
I think Charsky's back in. perhaps?
I think so.
Well, in terms of players on defense,
That's Charsky.
Charsky was the only returner on defense from last year's squad. Now, players that aren't listed on the roster as defense might play defense, but we're going by the positional listings, and based upon those, she was the only returner. If you haven't already, you can check out our women's soccer season preview over at csidolphins.com.
Now, I'm curious, where can you look at the competition that you had mentioned earlier? Where can you find that?
It's not public yet.
Oh, it's not public
I'm a co-editor on the project, though I may have to collect a fee because I wasn't invited.
yet.
I think it would have been a perfect opportunity to make me a virtual judge. How can you judge food without tasting and not being there? Don't ask me. I'm judging the presentation.
Yeah, I was going to say presentation.
Presentation,
still
that's
goes
right.
a long way.
That's right. I've watched a lot of Hell's Kitchen, so
Right.
I'm up there in my ability to critique.
Right.
It may not make any sense, but I can definitely critique. We'll have to
We've watched
censor a bit, but,
We've watched our fair share of that show. Kitchen Nightmares. A lot of Gordon Ramsay.
one of our favorites. Dolphins with just over 12 minutes in search of an equalizer here.
Necessarily, we want to use the colorful language that he does, but yeah.
Well, we have a colorful pitch. That's enough.
Yeah.
Tell you, though, we did cover some soccer for SOAP FC. Do you know what SOAP stands for? It is son of a, and then
Oh yes.
Yeah,
I did call the all.
we don't want any flagging.
Yeah. I did
But
call the.
That P stands for pitch.
Yeah.
And when you say it straight through, we don't want anyone
Yeah,
having any confusion.
yeah.
This is our first broadcast here on Flow,
Yeah.
but that is the name of that organization. We've covered games for them independently of CSI before.
I was going to say, I think they sponsored an all-star game last year with some of the high schools here on Staten Island.
I think you covered that,
I did
right?
cover that with Dave, yes.
Yep. SOAP FC.
Those are some great games that Dave and I got for those two.
Those were Peters?
Those were at Wagner.
Wagner.
Now, the weather definitely wasn't ideal for that night, but it was still two good games regardless.
I have to admit, and it's not something I'm hesitant to admit, I'm actually quite happy about it. We could not have asked for better weather covering soccer outdoors last season.
Yes.
No whistle there on that contact as Cole went down. And she's
Now
been
they
on the
called it.
receiving end of some physical play, and now a card is going to come out. So
Yeah,
they were playing the advantage.
Yep.
Free kick Staten Island here from just beyond the midfield logo. Clock stopped at 10:31 here in the second half. And, there's never a good time to lose a game via shutout, but season opener in front of the home crowd, you'd love to put one on the board here.
Yeah, especially with it being this late in the game, too. You've got the feel that the Dolphins are going to have a couple more chances left in this one to try to tie the game. So, good opportunity for them right here. Be curious if they try to set one up on a cross attempt from just near the middle of the pitch.
Tough to cross when you're centered that much as that skips in near the top of the box. Rodriguez gets to it, retreating. Avoided one marker, couldn't avoid the second. And here come the Golden Falcons on the counter. They're racing across midfield, but Charsky is there.
Great defensive play right there.
Strong challenge there by Charsky, and initially was able to get that ball onto the foot of an attacker, but Dolphins got caught in between racing back defensively and trying to switch back toward attacking. Hammond now taken down. Foul called. Free kick coming up.
Dolphins have had a lot of free kicks here in the second half. Quick attempt right here, Joe. Just wide.
They snuck that one in there, didn't they, Nick?
That was a very quick pass from Hammond after the foul was called.
That might be as good of a chance as they've had in the second half, Nick. Let's get one more look at it from in close and see just how close that was to being an equalizer.
Well, here's first the pass and the shot attempt, and then we'll get to our close-up angle. It was just wide of that netting, and then we'll look in just a moment of how close it was.
Felician moving up the sideline here. Dolphins are back defensively. That ball rolling toward the touchline. Hunt kept it in.
Good job by Hunt right there.
Lazinski brought it up almost half the length of the pitch.
Going to be a throw-in for the Dolphins.
Then tried to play it ahead. And the Dolphins did a really good job off the pass from Lazinski to keep that ball from rolling over the touchline, and they earn a throw. As the clock now is inside of 9 minutes remaining, the Dolphins running short on time here. They need just one to get even. Throw travels over everybody and ends up in the midfield. Intercepted there by the Dolphins, and there was a big chance right there if Thompson got that pass off, and she's fouled.
She does get the free kick, though, awarded.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're the Dolphins, you'd love to take the free kick quickly there.
Clock stopped.
Yeah, I think Mora got a foot on that ball as the Dolphins were trying to get set for the free kick, and she will get a talking to from the referee. Cirinelli, the free kick taker. Clock stopped at 8:14. That one almost rolled out of play.
Dolphins. Fortunate that it didn't.
Yeah, they just kept it in. Comes Rodriguez. Plenty of room. Chance to cross. She will. And it's headed away by Felician. They've been really good at defending most of the crosses. There was that one attempt looking for Cole, and it snuck through a tight window. Surprised both you and I, and that's been the best CSI scoring chance. That was back in the first half. Jean Belay now working into the attacking third, looking for Rodriguez, but that ball a bit too strong. Rodriguez taking responsibility for that one. Didn't follow through with that run. The bench thinking that they missed a big chance there.
Yeah, because now it's going to get to the point where Felician's got to take a little bit more time, and you get that sense that they're going to start maybe parking the bus in a lack of turn. With 7 minutes left, you're up by one. It's going to be a lot more defensively for this Golden Falcons team to try to keep this 1-0 lead that they have, as they'll have a free kick coming.
Ball set just shy of midfield with a free kick upcoming. Golden Falcons undoubtedly will take their time with each free kick opportunity. We are inside of 7 minutes remaining here at Dolphin Soccer Park. Free kick taker lost her footing there. That was Eskridge. And the Dolphins might be able to take advantage here. Thompson looking. Good ball.
Dolphins got numbers, Joe.
They have numbers, but
offside.
The flag is up. I was looking for the line judge, Nick. I couldn't find him. Where is he?
I can't find him either. He's over there.
There's one on the other sideline, too.
The other side, yeah.
I was going to say, I know they didn't make that call from down at this end. Let's get a look at replay, Nick. What do you think? I thought they would have been good, but they hesitated on the pass. Thompson took a moment to survey and then delivered.
Yeah, he called it pretty much at the halfway point where the pass was.
But do you think it was the right call? That's the important part.
I don't know.
Well, that's very non-committal.
I know.
Now, We normally have a replay monitor for Nick and I to view this game on a 15-inch LCD screen. I'm very proud of that monitor, by the way. Unfortunately, we plugged it in, and that is what caused our audio to go out. So I think the monitor has to be in first because the computer then picks that up as an audio out, and it threw off our setup. As that pass intended for Rodriguez, too strong once again. It ends up in the arms of Riolano.
I think looking back at it, I think it is the right call, but it was pretty close.
Well, they're the best at what they do, these officials. We are definitely not referees, that's for sure.
Yeah. One of us on our crew is an umpire, but that's a different sport.
Might be a good time to mention the ECC recently announced a partnership with Officially Human during the off-season. Speaking of our officials, it supports the restoration of respect, positive treatment of all sports officials. That includes these referees, and you know the ECC prides itself on good sportsmanship as well. Our spectators definitely involved in that. It's not just the athletes we're worried about. Though to be fair, we're not worried about any of our Dolphins, Nick. Certainly not.
No, definitely not.
Now, some of those visiting spectators that come in here, never a Dolphins fan, never one of the fanatics, but some of those visiting spectators, you may have to give them a stern talking to once in a while.
It can get chippy sometimes.
You know what we call them, Nick? Aspiring officials.
Yes.
Aspiring officials.
I thought you were going to put me on the spot and ask me, and I almost forgot.
You were going to say we call them something else.
I don't remember. I honestly didn't.
Do we have the censor button?
I actually didn't have a wording for it. I had nothing. If you asked me,
Oh, okay, good.
I was just going to be complete silence.
Uh-oh. I'm never one at a loss for words as that's cleared over the sideline. 4.5 to go here at Dolphins Soccer Park. Still a one-goal game.
I think the only time we were at a loss for words was that arena football game we called a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you can only say what just happened so many times. And oh, my goodness. You know, Nick and I do a lot of broadcasting for other networks. If you can't get enough of us, the best place to find us is over on YouTube. We cover the Jersey Bearcats. We cover Old Bridge High School. All of those games are on YouTube. Check those out. The YouTube channel that hosts those games is the PDF Sports Network. So if you love Nick and I, that's where you can find us. Also, the entire history of CSI Sportsnet prior to the 2025 season is now uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, very nice.
On the CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel. So you can check out every past game in one place. We have the YouTube history of Sportsnet dating back, I believe, to 2016. And then we have the entire ECC network history of Sportsnet. That spanned from 2021 through the end of last season. And 1 week after each of these games airs on Flow, they'll also be on the Sportsnet YouTube channel. Contractually, we cannot release them any sooner than 72 hours to make it easy. We're going to do all of those games 1 week after they are played. However, we can share with you our great calls and our great highlight packages from those games as they happen. So for each Dolphins win, we hope to have highlight videos featuring our replays from those games, including our goal calls and any other big moments from throughout. And I think with soccer, Nick, those videos are pretty easy to put together because we don't have that many replays.
Right.
So we know if something was replayed, it was a big moment in the game.
Right.
Foul called against Felician, 3:15 to go. Dolphins with it in the attacking third. Jurek trying to square up for a cross, and there's a good defensive play again.
Corner coming up.
Kim has done some good work defensively during her time on the pitch. Dolphins quickly setting up for a corner. They play it short, and now Jurek looks to cross. Ball on the foot of an attacker, headed wide. I think that was Schlee in the middle of traffic there. And if she would have been able to square up toward goal, she was in prime scoring position for the attempted header.
Yeah, now the problem for the Dolphins is, Joe, time is of the essence. There's now 2:36 left in regulation, so they've got to be very quick.
And we said it before, goal kick opportunities, free kick opportunities, the Golden Falcons will take their time. Any Felician substitution from here on would stop the clock. And they quickly give it away right back to CSI for a throw. Cirinelli fires it in quickly. Rodriguez waiting for it. Has it on her foot now. Back to Jurek. Jurek retreating a bit. Cirinelli toward the top of the box. Played off the body of a Golden Falcon, and Dorr couldn't get an angle to get to that ball. Clearing it away there was Mora. Dolphins throw again under 2 minutes to play. Throw in by Vasquez. Hunt got a piece of it with the body. And now Thompson racing for it. And Riolano almost didn't come off her line in time there, Nick.
She waited another second. That might have been a dangerous spot.
I don't think Thompson expected a lane to that ball.
Yeah.
There was a wide open lane. Under 90 seconds to play now. Riolano punts it across midfield. Possession with Felician, and if they can get it in the corner, that would spell trouble for the Dolphins as they try and run this game out. It will be a CSI throw. Cirinelli trying to work quickly. This is Schlee. Schlee works toward the logo, had to avoid a pair of challenges, does so. Vasquez over the logo, now 1 minute remaining. Once again, Felician will likely try and work toward that corner if they get there. Time could run out on the Dolphins, but they intercept that ball. Schlee plays it with the body. 45 seconds to go. Cirinelli working into the midfield. Pass intercepted. Good defensive play there to get a foot on it by Ordonez. Mora with 30 seconds to play, working toward the sideline. She's making her way toward the corner. Ball up the far side. Mora in the corner with 20 seconds to go.
She's going to take her time with this one.
Yeah, that might be all for the Dolphins here, as Mora shielding it with the body, not giving any Dolphin
Mora did a good job, and it's going to be a throw-in, too, for Felician. This one's over, Joe.
And the Dolphins will drop their season opener by a final score of 1-0. Chances for CSI in the first half, they could not convert. And Nick, I think it's fair to say the Dolphins limited Felician to no more than 2, maybe 3 good scoring chances in this one. The Golden Falcons converted on one of their opportunities. The Dolphins did not. And that effectively is the difference in this one as CSI falls 1-0.
Well, you mentioned it earlier on. The first 8 minutes or 10 minutes of this second half was pretty much all Felician. But then the Dolphins, for the remainder of this half, were very aggressive. They were on the attack for the majority of this second half. And they had some chances in this half, too. A couple of shots went offline. They had a couple of corners in this half as well. Unfortunately, were not able to get their first goal of the season. And it's kind of what we expected in this game, Joe, in terms of it being very low scoring and a very close game. We get that with a 1-0 finish as Felician gets their first win of this 2025 season.
For Felician, it is also the first win in program history over the College of Staten Island in 5 tries. The Dolphins are now 2-1-2 against Felician. Golden Falcons begin their season 1-0. The Dolphins begin their season with a record of 0-1. As for us, Nick, our next broadcast will be on Wednesday, September 10th. I believe we have Caldwell coming up for women's soccer. Shame on me for not having that information at the ready, but I believe it is Caldwell coming into the CSI Soccer Complex, also known as Dolphin Soccer Park, here on Wednesday.
Chestnut Hill.
Ooh. Chestnut Hill.
It was a C.
Chestnut Hill. I think that's the right conference, wrong team.
Yes.
Chestnut Hill comes in on Wednesday. Nick and I back on the call for that one. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nicholas Pavona. Once again, our final score, Felician University 1, College of Staten Island 0. Women's soccer back in action next Wednesday. Catch all the action right back here on CSI Sportsnet, now a part of Flow Sports.